Okay people, so what I'm going to talk about in this video is quite a, well, a very serious subject, so please watch it all before commenting, because I don't want this to be misunderstood or misrepresented in any way. I've just come off a group on Facebook, British Muslims for Secular Democracy, and someone has posted a link. Well, it actually shows a photograph of a survey that was done. This is what it says: when is rape okay? During a poll of high school students, Jacqueline Goodchilds asked the following question: is it all right if a male holds a female down and physically forces her to have sex if? And then what it does is it gives a list of scenarios and the percentage of yes responses from men and women. So there's just scenarios, and the percentage I quote is the number of students who said it's okay as a percentage. It doesn't, the person who put this link doesn't give any context, like which country this was done in or which college or whatever, but just says high school students. Anyway, these are the responses. Okay, just checking the cameras aligned properly. He spent a lot of money on her. Males 39%, females 12%. So 39% of males thought that was okay to rape her in those circumstances, 12% of females. He is so turned on he thinks he can't stop, 36% of males, 21% of females. She has had sexual intercourse with other guys, 39% of males, 18% of females. She is stoned or drunk, 39% of males, 18% of females. She lets him touch her above the waist, 39% of males, 28% of females. She is going to and then changes her mind, 54% of males, 31% of females. She has led him on, 54% of males, 26% of females. She gets him excited sexually, 51% of males, 42% of females. They have dated for a long time, 43% of males, 32% of females. Okay, there's clear discrepancy there between the males and females. In terms of the wording, when is rape okay, I'd like to know if that is the original question of this survey or if that's been manipulated. Maybe it is the original question, but it seems like a strange question. I wonder, was the original question more when is sexual intercourse okay? And that's what this video is about, basically how we define rape. Now, from the outset, I want to make my position clear. I think rape is a heinous crime. I've had several female friends who have had that experience. I say several, I should say two specifically. And it was a heinous crime. It obviously had a very deep impact on their psychology, because what people don't realise, it isn't just the immediate act, it has consequences for years. It can cause all sorts of mental health problems in terms of a woman's image, in terms of just everything. By image I mean self-image. It's a very destructive crime. It's wicked. It's one of the worst crimes possible, to force yourself into someone sexually. So that's my position. It's absurd to blame the victim. It's absurd to say that any woman wants to be raped, to have sex with a man that she doesn't want to have sex with. That is, to suggest that she wants that or she invites it is absurd and insulting. And it demonstrates a very bad attitude to this crime. However, I do believe it's very important that we really make it clear in the legal system what rape is. And I do strongly believe there are grey areas that need to be raised. And before I get shouted down, please bear in mind what I've said in the first part of this video. Rape is an abhorrent crime. It's never justified, and you cannot blame the victim. But I'm talking about rape when rape is rape. It is legitimate to question how we define rape. I believe that is legitimate, precisely because it's such a serious crime, and precisely because if a conviction goes ahead, then the man will get years behind bars. Now if he's guilty, he fully deserves it. And I would say what I've said in other videos, the rape conviction rate is way too low, at least in this country. Victims of rape do have a right to feel that they are hard done by, they don't get the justice they deserve. And as a man, if any of my female friends suffered that experience, I would see red. Because no woman should have to go through that. No man for that matter. Gay rape also happens, so let's not overlook that. But no one should have to go through that experience. It's heinous, it's cowardly, and it's destructive. So that's without question. Some of the questions in the survey caught my attention. Some of them, the respondents are quite similar, others there's big discretion between male and female respondents. One that's quite similar, she gets him excited sexually, 51% of men, 42% of women. So that's a slightly narrower difference. Others there's a much bigger margin. For example, he has spent a lot of money on her, 39% of males. That's quite a high, it's still a minority, but it's still a lot of guys at that college seem to think it's okay. That's troubling, because that would basically mean any rich guy has a right to rape, and that's just sick thinking. One that would catch my attention, she's going to and then change her mind. Well, it's still wrong, rape is rape, but I don't know why she would do that. I think it's wrong to mislead people. Another one, she has led him on. Now, what does that mean? You know, if you're going to raise a question like that, I think you need to... Is that led him on in his mindset, or is that she really has led him on? Which I think is quite cruel, actually. Leading anybody on, I don't think it's cool behaviour. I think that there are circumstances that legitimate questions need to be raised. Now, if it's a case, the alcohol factor is one that's often raised. If a woman's very drunk and the man's not, then clearly that's a dangerous situation where he's going to take advantage of her. And I would call that rape. But in a situation where they're both drunk, can you really call that rape? If we're saying the victim is so intoxicated that she has no control over her actions, then surely by the same merit it goes that her partner, her sexual partner, if he is also so intoxicated that he doesn't know what he's doing, surely there should be the same standards. If we're going to talk about alcohol in that way, it's different if he's only had a few and she's wasted, because then he's clearly taken advantage of her. But in a situation where they're both intoxicated to that extent, then can you really call that rape? Because there have been cases where women have regretted having sex, possibly because they've been cheating on a boyfriend or whatever, so then they say it's rape as a way to legitimise that. Now, I am by no means saying that's always the case, but I'm saying when we're talking about rape, because it's such a heinous crime, it is important to define exactly what it is. Now, I know if I said that, I would get shouted down and people say, oh, you're condoning rape. Absolutely not. Read my lips. Rape is an appalling crime. And in cases of actual rape, the victim is never at fault. But what I'm arguing is that you need to define exactly what rape is. Rape itself is never justified. But it is important to define what it is. That seems reasonable to me when people could be facing years behind bars. It seems reasonable to define what a crime is. Now, in my line of thinking, and I think most people would agree with this, rape is unwanted sex. Forcing sex on someone who doesn't want it. That is rape. Rape is rape and you can't gloss it over. But in a situation where the woman can't remember, that is not the same as not wanting it. So how can you call that rape if it's simply a case that she can't remember, but she was intoxicated? I don't think that's rape. I really don't. I still think it's wrong. I don't think people should have sex in those circumstances. But I don't think it's rape, because it's not a case where she has said no. or at least she can't remember if she has said yes or no. And given that rape is such a traumatic experience, if it had been a deeply unpleasant experience, surely it would be something that she would remember. Now, I do raise this issue because if a man is found guilty, it could be, I'm not sure what the sentence is, I think it's 12 years in this country, different sentences regarding, but 12 years under those circumstances seems very, very questionable, just because a woman can't remember. Now, if you're watching this video and you've been a victim of rape, please don't misunderstand me. I am 100% sympathetic to women who have been through that heinous experience. I believe you deserve more justice. I believe the man who attacked you should be behind bars, thoroughly. And I would challenge any other man that thinks, some of the guys in this college clearly have an attitude problem with, for example, in terms of the question about money, and he is so turned on he thinks he can't stop. Well, then that's his problem for not controlling himself. And like most of those questions, there's absolutely no justification whatsoever. The only one I have issue with is she has led him on, because we need to ask what exactly does that mean. If it's a case of she has led him on in his mind, then that might be just his delusions. But if she actually has led him on, then, well, rape's still wrong, but so is leading someone on. Now, I don't want to be shouted down and misunderstood. I'm simply saying that because this is such a heinous crime, surely any rational-minded person would agree that because rape is such a heinous crime, it's important that we have a justice system that makes it clear what rape is. And at the moment, it seems to me there are grey areas, especially where alcohol is involved. And I really believe that if both parties are drunk, both people are drunk, that cannot be rape. Now, I'll quote some personal situations I've been in. I've been with girls who have been very drunk. If I was a potential rapist, I would take advantage of that. But no, I made sure they were okay. And these were girls I was attracted to. I made sure they were okay. I made sure either they got home okay or they went to bed alright. I got on with work. This is my own personal experience. I would never dream of taking advantage of a woman in that position. But if the man is equally intoxicated, then surely the same excuse can be used. Oh, well, I didn't know what I was doing. It just seems unfair to have the standard of alcohol making people not responsible for their own actions, and then saying, well, that's only valid for the person making the accusation. That seems grossly unfair. Now, I believe most rape cases are genuine. I don't think that is the case in most rape cases. I'm just saying that because there are grey areas that need to be looked at. So I don't think that can be classed as rape. I really, really don't. And frankly, I do think there are some women out there, a minority of women, who would regret their actions and use this as a cover to make themselves feel better. But I do say that's a minority. Just in conclusion, I do think there should be more justice for rape victims. I do think there should be more attackers in prison. I do think that there should be more support given to women who have been through this. And definitely, what is also troubling is the number of women who seem to think it's okay. This isn't just the attitude of, like, some men have a bad attitude, just some women who actually think it's okay. And that in itself is also troubling, is they seem to have a cold attitude towards their fellow women. But there's parts of the world where definitely rape exists all over the world, but there's definitely parts of the world where there's an attitude to rape which is, you look at countries like India and Pakistan, where there is definitely a widespread acceptance of rape. In the case of India, that is being challenged, I'm pleased to say, but it is still a huge, huge problem. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I believe victims should be given absolute support. I think they deserve justice. I think it's disgraceful to ever blame the victim, but I'm just arguing that there are some grey areas, particularly when alcohol's involved, when both parties are drunk, that need to be raised. Okay, thanks for watching.